Hey, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kitty McGowan, and I'm the president of the U.S. Super Yacht Association. And I'm so thankful to Peter Schrappen and the whole team out at the Northwest Marine Trade Association for keeping the boat show spirit alive, even though we still can't be together in person much because of this ongoing pandemic. We're really excited to be able to bring you an update from around the United States about what's been happening and how this COVID craziness has positively impacted and negatively impacted the industry around the country. So what we're going to do, because I have reps from all over the US, I'm excited to we're going to start in the Southwest. From the Marine Group Boat Works, Leah Yam, who's the Director of Communications down there in San Diego, Florida. Welcome around, Leah. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Kitty. Yeah, San Diego, California is seeing a pretty big rise in a lot of the super yachts that are coming over this way. Actually, just to back up a little bit, Marine Group Boat Works is a shipyard based in San Diego as well as in Cabo. We do a lot of refits for the super yacht market. We are also kind of a diversified shipyard in that we see a lot of commercial boats and government work as well. We also have part of our portfolio, Fifth Avenue Landing Marina, which is a downtown, kind of a boutique style super yacht marina. And so we have about 12 slips there, all catered to super yachts. And so kind of the state of the market right now for San Diego has been actually just an overwhelming number of boats coming up to our region. I actually just spoke to a shipyard in San Francisco, and between our two yards, we've been going back and forth and trying to accommodate the larger market. What we're seeing is the mega yachts, so boats over maybe 50 meters, coming this way a lot more than they ever used to. And with Marine Group being able to haul out up to 600 tons, it's been a struggle to find, just other resources for them. So what we're seeing is they'll do in-water work with us and then maybe haul out at nearby shipyards, simply because they prefer to do the work in San Diego. Weather down here is just much more predictable. Once in a while we get some, flash rains and here and there, but I think they're all okay with it if it's, going to help clean their vessels during the yard period. So yeah, I think that's kind of the new thing that pokes out at us is just a lot more mega yachts coming over to the West Coast region. So that's our update.
Well, great. Thank you so much. And yes, I'm sure that our friends in the Northeast would have a much different opinion of the weather up there, but I know it's not impacting their progress this year. But we're going to head all the way up northwest, just west of Seattle to the Port Angeles area, to Marty Martian from Westport Yachts, Marty is the client services and product development manager for one of the few remaining yacht builders here in the United States. And we're really excited to have him. He's also, like Leah, sits on our board of directors here at the U.S. Super Yacht Association. Marty, so tell us what's happening. Everyone wants bigger, better, badder boats, and you guys are building them up there.
Hi, Kitty, great, thanks for having us here. Marty Martian, and just wanted to, I guess, we are doing our, COVID actually hit us in a way that really hit us hard, I guess, in a sense that our governor here has mandated, and we are still in phase one, where we have to have social distance. So normally if I have 6 guys building out an engine room, I'm now down limited to half of that. So we've had challenges in that regard of meeting our on time on, but it's, that we're really functional and getting those boats out on schedules. So it's been a slight challenge there on that new yacht build. We have sitting in the water 50 meter, 50-15 is our latest. It's here in Port Angeles waiting for a weather window, and it will make its way around to Fort Lauderdale and home port in Fort Lauderdale. So another 50 meter Westport to be stationed in Fort Lauderdale full time. And then we've got a couple of new builds on the 112 series side, 7764 that's 64 hulls of the 112.
Wow.
We'll deliver on this fall. And then we just contracted for another new 112, which is, and again, because of timing and not knowing, I mean, we've had delivery schedules that we don't know when we're getting supplies and materials at this point. So that boat is a new contract, but it's early 2022, which is kind of a little bit challenging. It was like, we don't know what date to put on there, but we gave ourselves a buffer. Also, up here in the Pacific Northwest, Westport has engaged in doing service and refit. We are now capable and painting. We're contracting currently for another 50-meter paint job, which will start after that boat comes up and goes to Alaska early fall this coming in for a paint job. So we are doing some of that service work and updating. That boat is a 2015 model. So they're just sprucing things up, but we are doing full AV retros on some of our vessels that are looking for updates on new AV and electronics. So
what better way is there to socially distance and spend time with your families than on your yacht? And like you, Leah and Marty, have seen an increase in the number of large vessels. I know that once the Alaska area opened, associations like the U.S. Super Yacht Association, NMTA, worked with the Canadian government to allow yachts to transverse up there and to actually visit the Alaskan islands up in that chain. So that has been a real big boon to that area. And then with the loss of not having commercial ships and cruise ships, there's been a lot more opportunity for these big white boats to go to the dock and not sit out on the anchor. So there's a mixed blessing there for a lot of the economies up in Alaska, and I hear a lot more heading up that way already for next year. So that's great, Marty. We're so happy to see that you guys are staying well and pivoting and moving and finding new ways to keep business rolling. So we're going to take a quick flight across the U.S. and head up to the northern part of the Maine area, and let's talk to JB Turner, with president of Front Street Shipyard, as well as a principal with Cape Charles Yachting Center in the Chesapeake. It's not like he didn't have enough on his plate to keep him busy in Maine. So JB, tell us what's happening up there in the great state of Maine.
Well, thanks, Kitty. It's been really busy up here. The pandemic initially seemed like it would slow things down, but over the course of the summer, a lot of the larger yachts were able to figure out the restrictions and quarantine issues that were early on and work their way up the coast. So we had probably more large yachts over 50 meters that I've ever seen in Maine last summer. Almost every harbor, and there's thousands of harbors and islands in Maine, every one of the major harbors always had a boat over 50 meters sort of anchored outside with tenders bringing people in and out. And the usual spots like Somme Sound, et cetera, were just overly busy. At one point, I ran into a lobsterman who was a little upset because there was 18 boats over 150 feet headed down Somme Sound, so he lost all his gear.
Oh, no.
but the better side of that story is everybody came to Maine basically last summer. There was just a tremendous influx starting in August and through the fall. And we've seen that continue as people were unsure about what winter would bring. And there was always the talk last fall about the second surge. So a lot of people stayed in Maine or stayed in New England, throughout New England. You'll find almost every yard in New England is over full. We were turning boats away as early as August. Just lack of room, and our regular returning customers plus people that had made their minds up early on. So we have an abundance of work this winter, as does just about every yard in Maine, from new boat construction. My friends at Brooklyn Boat Yard and down at Rockport Marine are 4 and 5 different custom projects going on. We're starting up a new small custom project along with all of our refit work for the winter. So there's a lot of things going on, a lot of diverse things, whether it's refits or new construction. It seems to be flurry everywhere. And the same goes true what we saw of our smaller yard down in Virginia. A lot of the catamaran and cruisers were forced out of the islands last winter, and they were a little afraid, some of them, to come up into the New England area, not sure about what was going on in the Massachusetts, Connecticut area, so they stayed in the Chesapeake. And our yard down there, having just a little bit wider travel lift, was overwhelmed. And it's not a big yard, but we were overwhelmed with work and continue to be, as the catamarans and the cruisers really, again, didn't know whether to go south again. So they hung out, and a lot of them stayed for the winter again this year instead of going south. So it's been busy all up and down the East Coast as far as I'm aware of.
Yeah, we've been hearing about a lot of those types of very positive signs. And as well, like with Marty saying, the challenge seems to be more of a lack of supplies to do the work than the work itself. So we hope that trend continues. So, but we're happy to see that you guys are doing well up there in Maine and hopefully staying warm. I know you guys have had some big flurries up there already this year. So I hope you're staying warm up there. And I know you've got some really cool projects with some new state-of-the-art 3D laser cutters and all kinds of crazy stuff. So, and I know we'll look forward to hearing more about that very soon in the near future to keep business going strong here in the United States. So congratulations, JB, on your success, and hope things stay forward and you guys stay well. We're going to head a little further south, just south of the Chesapeake, to the, just past the northern part of Florida, to a little adorable little town. If you've never been to Savannah, Georgia, I'm excited to have one of our USSA board members with us today, Jim Barulus, Vice President of Savannah Yacht Center, and tell us what's been happening in Georgia. You guys haven't been open that many years, so you're kind of the relative newcomer to the scene in repair, but you're no newcomer to the scene, but the yard itself is. So tell us, what have you been finding?
We had a very slow summer and the beginning of the fall, and the boats, and we focus on larger boats, typically 50 meters and up. The boats were tentative. They didn't know what their plans were. They didn't know where to go. Suddenly, just before the holidays, that changed. We are now almost full. We have had a couple of 300 footers here just recently, one of which is still in town. The boats seem to have either come to grips with the virus or just have to have their work done. The boats that we have here now all have very strict protocols. We have one boat that's here for an extended refit period, and they test every workman that goes aboard every day.
Wow.
Most of the boats that are here are very concerned that they complete their shipyard period and leave virus-free so that they can go into charter. We actually have a 50-meter boat here that is headed for Alaska in about a month's time.
Wow.
So it would appear as if things are opening up in terms of boat usage. We hadn't seen that for quite some time, but now we expect to have a very good winter, and we've had inquiries into the summer. Things have changed dramatically since Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's great news. I mean, it's really good to hear that business is doing so well, and that people are doing it safely, and then we can find that as an essential industry, because we are essential clearly to the economic impact of the markets we serve, being able to go to work and keep our workers working and on the job is a really critical part about things that we do, like at the U.S. Super Yacht Association. So I'm so happy to be able to see that you guys are picking up and doing well. Congratulations, and we hope that success continues. And so last but not least, in the largest area of the U.S. Super Yacht, so based down here with me in South Florida, where we are enjoying extraordinarily good weather right now. And I'm excited to be able to bring to you James Brewer with Director Shipyards, and they're based down here in the Fort Lauderdale, Dania Beach area, and coming soon to Fort Pierce, Florida. And so they got a lot of stuff going on, and you guys are the big boys here in town as well. So James, tell me a little bit about what you guys have been seeing over there at Directors.
Oh, thanks, Kitty. Obviously, COVID had an impact on the whole industry. We had vessels with different expectations. Some vessels were being used as safe havens by their owners. which means they were completely out of the service market altogether. We adopted pretty strict protocols right from the very beginning, and were able to offer vessels safe service work within the parameters of those protocols. We were fortunate in that the industry was declared an essential business pretty early. Therefore, we were able to keep people working, which was of huge importance to the local economy when things looked really dire at the very beginning. That resulted in strong marina sales right across the whole city, and decent service sales, despite the fact you had very little major work being undertaken, a certain amount of deferred maintenance going on, and certainly owners using their boats for their own purposes. In November, we had, after a great deal of reflection, we put on the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show on a slightly smaller footprint, but still with safety first and the needs of the community in mind. Resulted in slightly smaller attendance, but certainly huge success for smaller builders. It was a very, very successful show for vessels under 100 feet, which was interesting, but certainly very good for the local economy, local hotels, restaurants, and so on. So it was a good injection into the local economy. For third and fourth quarter sales in 2020, I think industry-wide were pretty good. I mean, suffered through 2 tough quarters at the beginning of the year, but then rebounded nicely. And I would say that the latter half of the year was right on par with what we'd like to see. First 2 quarters of 2021 are looking really strong. I mean, a lot of that deferred maintenance is now being done. A lot of big boats which did winter down in the Caribbean now coming back up in the normal cycle. So we're very pleasantly encouraged for what we see for the first half of the year. The yard is full right now. That is complicated a little bit by some of the challenges of COVID. The new variants are a little bit of a worry, and certainly impact to the supply chain has slowed some things down. But we're hopeful in the long term it won't have any significant impact to revenue or deliveries. That said, I mean, our yard in Fort Pierce, we're going ahead with that as planned. You know, it's a huge investment for us, but we're looking forward to putting up a new machine. Most of that equipment is on site now. The slip is almost completed. We'll be putting up the machine, which will be the largest mobile lift in the world once it's erected.
Wow.
So we're looking forward to that. 1,500 tons capacity will add to the existing service capacity that exists on the East Coast, and give every mega yacht just another option to consider when time to place service work out there. So we're looking forward to a really strong 2021. Thank you.
That's fantastic news, James. It's good, as Leah was saying, there is a lot of perception out there internationally that there is very limited or no capacity for haul outs and doing work of large scale here in the United States, and seeing you guys expanding and seeing things that they're doing, that Marty are doing up there in the Northwest, and what Leah and them are doing there, and Jim, even in the just north of the Florida. I mean, it seems that they are moving further north. I mean, definitely Fort Pierce is a couple of hours north of the Fort Lauderdale, which has been considered the super yacht section of the United States, at least. So we're excited to hear that that's going to go well. How is everybody else feeling about 2021? Is you think that it's going to be a continued good ride, or how do you see it affecting your business real quickly, Marty?
No, we see it real strong here. Word coming, as it's been indicated, a lot of boats traveling up the West Coast and destination for Alaska. And we we got in the port here, as you know, okay, we got fuel stop provisions that all can happen without having to go into the heart of Seattle. But Seattle's great on support. They're getting out here to the peninsula, but Alaska definitely we see strong boats coming this way. So, and
also a lot of great craftsmen up in your part of the world as well, where you have some good tradesmen that can do fantastic work up that area too. So that's encouraging to see. Jim, what are you saying? You're saying your work continuing to grow this year in 21?
Yes. the indicators are that we're going to have a very strong summer, which is very good for us, and going forward into the fall is good. I think the key to it is, and I'm pleased to tell you, I got my first vaccine shot, and I get my second next week.
Wow.
That, in fact, as they get the vaccine out there, is going to help us all. People are just waiting, I believe, to get back on the water to use their boats, and I think we're going to start to see that this year.
Or at least do it with a little bit more confidence that they're not either going to put somebody at risk or get something as well. I know that's been a lot of concern with the charter market particularly. So since we heard from James, he's saying that 21 is going to be great here in South Florida. So that makes me happy. JB, you think things are going to continue going strong for you guys up there in the Northeast?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think everything's going to keep going. I see people talking about, we have several boats coming up already planned for the spring and summer and even into the fall. Some of the bigger boats are hoping still that they can get up into Canada, go to Newfoundland, and further up into the ice, which I can't understand from this point of view.
You have enough of it in Maine. That's okay.
Exactly. No, we hope that more of the transients will come. Last year was a lot of big boats and some transients. This year, we're hoping that more of the people in southern New England will make the trek back up to Maine again as the virus hopefully dissipates and the vaccine takes over and people can feel more comfortable about moving around.
Well, we certainly hope that trend continues and people get more confident to get out back on the water. And last but not least, our beautiful lady from the Southwest, Leah Yam. What do you guys see for a positive end of second, third, fourth quarter of 21?
Yeah, very same. What everyone was saying is pretty indicative of what's happening in San Diego. Some things that I have heard is the foreign travel policies have also made it very good for our industry. You know, yacht owners from America aren't able to use their boats out in international countries or, you know, countries internationally. And so that actually makes it better for, you know, these owners coming back to the United States and using our country to, you know, as a cruising destination, whereas, you know, they're usually often found in other places. And so that actual just, you know, trend happening is what's benefiting us. So yeah, so long as the foreign policies or travel policies are going to take its time to, you know, get back to where it used to be, we may see that influx of, you know, American owners who make up, I think it's 1/2. I mean, don't quote me on those statistics, but I believe it's about 1/2, yeah, of the mega yacht owners out there are United States citizens or Americans. So yeah, San Diego is looking good.
And hopefully soon your state will open up to more travel or fewer restrictions to move around in California. That would be a good thing.
Yeah.
Can come out of lockdown, but I thank you all so very much for your time today, and we're really excited to see what goes on and make sure you keep us up to speed on how business is going. And again, my name is Kitty McGowan. I'm president of the U.S. Super Yacht Association. You can find all of these wonderful guests on our website at ussuperyacht.com. That is ussuperyacht.com. And Peter, thank you once again for having us. And we'll take it back to you, Peter, in the studio. Thanks. Bye, guys.
Hey, bye now.